Think we're live. Welcome back to the pod, y'all. We got a very special guest today. He's back in from a very long flight, so I'd like him to introduce himself. Who we're with?
I'm Levi Dashney. I came a long way from San Antonio, and I'm here as David's roommate.
All right, Levi. Got a couple questions for you today. But first off, let's get some background on life in San Antonio and how it was there.
All right. So life in San Antonio, it's definitely way better weather than it is up here. I don't get it to experience too much cold down there, which I don't like, but I came up here to live my college experience and come to college up here. You know, not too much has been going on, but I don't think Lubbock and San Antonio have too much in common. So it's definitely a life changer for me.
And with Lubbock being such a long distance, how do you commute to Lubbock?
Well, every single time I came to Lubbock, I've been driving, which is a very long drive, 6 hour drive. It's not a pleasant drive, especially with all the traffic and just time in general sucks. But I don't have the expenses to be flying all the time, and it's also a very short flight, so it's kind of in the middle to where you kind of gotta commute by car, which is very very inconvenient.
All right, and would you say like how would you say the quality of the road is as you're driving from San Antonio to Lubbock?
Well, I would say it's a lot of empty roads. I would say a lot of trucking.
Like honestly, explain to me the transition at like a major city like San Antonio, then you're in the wilderness, and then Lubbock type of city Lubbock is. Just explain that for me.
Well, in San Antonio, I would say there's a lot of cars, a lot of traveling. So, excuse me. I would say the roads there are really busy, but they also keep construction going on them because so many people use those roads. And on the way to Lubbock, I would say there's not really much going on, not too much to see, not too many people around. So I would expect the roads to be not too bad, but the roads are just full of truckers, which I think damages the ground, which makes some potholes in the ground sometimes. And then as you get closer to Lubbock, it seems that the infrastructure is not as high tech San Antonio. I think that's just the city idea, but I just feel like in Lubbock there's definitely a lot more potholes, lot less attention to detail when it comes to roads and city taxes.
All right. As a like native of San Antonio, so like would you say the government really takes care of the individual driver, thinks about them in terms of improving the roadways, and I'm talking any types of roadways. We're talking mega highways, regular highways, city streets, freeways, that type of thing.
Well, I think that San Antonio brings a lot more income through transportation. Having all those roads and busy roads does help the infrastructure there in the big city. But I think as you get closer to Lubbock, the government is probably trying to keep their money where it should be more important rather than the roads that people think are too bad. But all roads are still drivable. But I think to the comparison of San Antonio, it's not the same. So I feel like the government is not as involved with the public transportation as they are in San Antonio.
And also another thing with San Antonio, being such the seventh largest city in the U.S. Uh, how would you feel the roads contribute to like uh just the way the city is, just the overall feel of the city, like congestion, are the roads, let's say, strategically placed, so you can get to everything on time, or would you say it's always backed up, or would you say the roads are just like, I don't know, maybe that pothole you run over every morning before school, you're always running it over, it's never getting filled for months.
Yeah.
So like, would you say the potholes in San Antonio are getting filled, or not?
I would say they're more on a public road. It would be uh, more involved with the government. I feel like people would send in more complaints, and it'd be more evaluated faster by the government, just in San Antonio because there's more people, the higher demand, more transportation. So obviously, it kicks off into more groups. But I think, yeah, in San Antonio, in a more public area, like I would say a main road, highway, If there was a pothole or an obstruction in the road, I feel like it would definitely be fixed faster in San Antonio than it would here in Lubbock.
All right. Also another thing. Before I came to you today, with this interview, I came across some statistic in a gender studies class I took, and this statistic, was pretty interesting to me, and it involved women paying less attention to the road than men. And after learning this, I decided not to involve any women in the study.
Mm.
It's solely off the gender study class. So, like, how do you feel about that? Would you say like gender plays any factor?
I would say yes. I feel like when I drive in a car with my mom, I feel like when I'm in the car with my mom, I'm more aware than I am when I'm with my dad. So that's just like a parental thing. But I feel like when I'm hanging out with girls, I would take the priority over driving because, just girls like to talk, they get easily distracted. They got a lot going on. So I feel like that is kind of true. I've never heard of that statistic, but I can definitely get behind it.
All right. And that's just also like another thing I wanted to add on to that study as well.
Mm.
Another question I had about the infrastructure in general was, do you feel like the roadways affect the social atmosphere of like the city? Like, did you feel like certain roads maybe led to to a part where certain people live? You know what I'm saying? And maybe that road was lesser.
I would say all the roads close to the colleges are more. I would say the infrastructure is way worse than it is than around the city. Like I would say a lot of the parking lots have messed up curbs or potholes or just bad parking in general, which I feel like all that stuff is not enforced on the college rather than in the city. So definitely around the college, and we're all more of the people that care less about and don't pay the city taxes. I feel like that's definitely where all the infrastructure is lower than the rest of the city.
All right, man. Well, I think that wraps it up for all the questions. I appreciate you coming out to the pod.
Thank you for putting me on this.
We'll have you out real soon. I know you're real busy, so just let me know about your schedule.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man.
Thank you.